Where's Miss Nisha? Oh,
She doing?
there he is.
Hey, Carrie Brown, how's it going?
Hey, you know what we just did?
What did we do?
We just did it perfectly.
The first time. That's really weird.
Yay!
Excellent, excellent. How have you been, Carrie Brown?
Well, it's been an interesting month, but everything's moving in the right direction.
Good.
Could I just say that your shirt is spectacular and it matches your eyes and you're looking really dashing.
Well, thank you so much. You look splendid yourself.
I think everybody that's watching who agrees with me should just start pushing that heart button.
I love it.
So are you on the way to a game?
Yeah, we're actually sitting in the parking lot now at a high school 3 or 4 counties over from our county, waiting on the festivities to begin. We're in the sub-state, right? In the sub-state, yeah. And we got to buy, and if we lose tonight, we're done. So we've got to put everything we got into this, or it's over.
So are you a silent watcher, or are you up on your feet cheering and all the things?
I'm quite loud. Yeah, especially if the game's close, I get pretty loud. And if there's a bad call, Nisha's like, shh, stop it. You're going to get thrown out.
I think, Miss Nisha, I think we need a video of this. I think we need a live of Dr. Berry cheering his daughter on.
Maybe. I might put that on my story. We'll see. Maybe it'll be on my Instagram story.
So I do have, I have lots of news, but we'll do that another time. But I do have one really big piece of news that you may have missed while you were gallivanting across the oceans and giving everybody the scoop on keto. My line, we killed it. We killed Jenny.
Excellent. And so Jenny is history.
Jenny is history. Of course, I still have the lingering, the symptoms don't go away immediately, obviously. So we're still trying to figure that out. And we uncovered some new things to play with. So I'm working on that, but Jenny's dead, and Jenny is my Lyme disease, for those of you who don't know who Jenny is, not a human. So everything's moving in the right direction, and I'm definitely starting to feel better. So
excellent,
yay!
excellent. So what is our topic tonight, Carrie Brown? I've got to sign off at about the half hour. So
okay.
Let's get with it.
So today's topic is it keto? And that may be like an odd question, but it is in the Facebook group is probably one of the most asked question is we'll get a photo of a product or a label, and the question, is it keto? And so I think it would, what does that even mean? And there's technical keto and there's healthy keto, if you see what I mean. So right. I thought it would be useful to help people really understand that for themselves, so that when they're at the grocery store, they're not going, oh, is it keto? And, and wanting to reach out for help. If we can empower people to know for themselves, I think that would be really useful.
Yes, I think that's a great topic. Let's delve into that.
So, for example, if some of you are going, wait, what do you mean? For example, the best example, I think, is like vegetable oils. Are vegetable oils keto? Well, of course they're keto. Everybody knows vegetable oils are keto. But do we want to eat them?
Right. And I think that's a great question, and this is a great topic, because ultimately what we're trying to do, Carrie, as you know, is we're trying to mimic the natural, normal human diet that human beings have been eating for the last 200,000 years of living on this planet, because that's what our DNA has gotten used to, and that's what we flourish on. That's what we're vibrant and healthy and alive and full of energy when we feed our body what it actually wants and what it actually needs. Now, you may want the Oreo cookies, but that doesn't mean that's what your DNA wants, right? That's not what your physiology wants. Your physiology wants the foods that it got used to over the eons and eons of us living on this planet and getting used to what we've gotten used to. And vegetable oils are a prime example of what not to eat. And so, you know, even though a vegetable oil may fit perfectly within your macros, right? That does not make it keto. And so what we're trying to do with keto is eat a natural, whole foods, ancestrally appropriate diet. And so when somebody says, is that keto? I hope that's what they mean by that. I hope they mean, is that something that my ancestors 50,000 years ago would have eaten and know that that's, oh yeah, that's food, right? And is that something that's going to lead me towards a longer health span and a longer lifespan? Because that's ultimately what we're here for, is to live as long and as healthily as we possibly can. And nobody wants to live 120 years but be in the nursing home for 60 of those years. We want to live a long time, but we also want to have a long health span where we're very vibrant and healthy. And in order to do that, you need to eat a ketogenic diet. And so, yeah, vegetable oils definitely not keto, even if they fit perfectly within your macros. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is terrible. They're very inflammatory. They're very chemically produced, and yeah, definitely not keto.
So, but I think a lot of people get confused with this because technically it is keto in that,
right.
you know, it's a fat, it's pure fat. So there's no carbs. But I think new people can be very confused about that. And I don't think all the voices out there make it easy for them to understand. So there is a difference between, is it technically like ketogenic food in that will it spike your insulin or you know, give you carbs? No, absolutely it won't. But it's not just about carbs and being in ketosis. You can be in ketosis and be eating absolute crap.
Absolutely. I predict that if you were to eat sawdust, you would be in ketosis, right? Because we can't digest and break up the cellulose in wood. And so is that a good, healthy human diet? Of course not. But yeah, you would technically be in ketosis because you'd be starving to death because you couldn't break down any of that to get to the carbs in it because it's locked up in a cellulose molecule and we can't digest that. And so I think you're exactly right. What we want to ultimately be doing is eating real, good, quality, whole, healthy human food. And so obviously the advertisers are going to try to trick us in every way they can to get us to buy their products so they can make $1 billion. But we can't fall for that. And so we have to understand, yeah, your food needs to fit in your macros, but at the same time, it also needs to be real food.
Right. So the message is that ingredients are important. And there are some ingredients like vegetable oils that are technically keto, but they're not what you want to be eating. I mean, you could, and you know, I think everybody has seen that Slim Fast have come out with a keto shake. Is it keto? Well, you'll probably stay in ketosis if you drink it, but will it be healthy? Absolutely it won't. And there's no point. The goal should not just be, am I in ketosis? Will it keep me in ketosis? The goal should be, will it keep me in ketosis? And is it a whole, real food that's full, that's brimming full of nutrients, that's actually going to make me healthy and make my cells healthy? So the goal is not just ketosis. The goal is nutrient density within the bounds of keto, but it's also not just about, you know, can I eat that and stay within my macros? That's not a healthy approach at all. But there are a lot of people out there who do follow they call it, if it fits your macros, IIFYM. You'll see that's the acronym. And some people do follow IIFYM, but you will never hear Dr. Berry or Nisha or Kim or I telling you that if it fits your macros is a good thing to do, a healthy thing to do.
No, I totally agree.
if you eat just, I don't know, straight up carnivore, but then you eat a mini Snickers bar because it's 19 grams of carbs, like there's nobody that's going to tell you with a straight face that that's healthy. But
Right. And
it's keto because
right.
it's under 20 grams of carbs a day. And I think that's where new people particularly, can get really confused.
Absolutely. And one thing I hear a lot of newbies and then some not so newbies saying is, "Oh, I found these really low carb tortilla wraps and they fit my macros, as you were saying. And so that I eat those and I think that's fine." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, they technically fit your macros and you probably are in ketosis. But if you're eating any grains, you are inflaming some part of your body. For some people, it's your gut. For some people, it's your joint. For some people, it's your brain. And I, for one, consider a true healthy ketogenic diet something that doesn't contain any inflammatory grains whatsoever. And so that is part of my keto diet, is I
And
never eat grains ever. And I
and
don't think you should.
I think that you would agree with me. I think I'm right in saying that for a lot of people, the aim of keto or being in ketosis is to lose weight. And I believe it's true that if your body is inflamed, you could actually not lose weight because of inflammation actually stops you from losing weight.
Absolutely.
So if you're
Absolutely.
eating, if it fits your macros, or you're eating keto, but you're eating inflammatory foods like the processed vegetable oils and legumes and stuff like that, even if it still gets you into ketosis, the inflammation could actually be stopping you from losing the weight, even though you're in ketosis. So it can be completely counterproductive to your goal.
Yes, two things can happen. First, as you said, you can be in your macros but not be reaching your weight loss goals. And that actually, I think that's probably the lesser of the two evils. The more horrifying outcome would be if you stay within your macros, but you ate lots of inflammatory things within your macros and you lost your weight, you felt good, you looked good, and you wind up with dementia when you're 55 or 60 because of all the inflammation, or you wind up having to have a knee replacement even though you're slender and you're active and you thought you were doing well, but you had this chronic knee arthritis that wouldn't go away. Turns out it's because you were eating those inflammatory grains because they fit your macros, forgetting that only for 1/1000th of 1% of our time on this planet have human beings eaten grain, right? For the vast majority of our time, we never ate grains. Our bodies, some people get deathly ill if they eat grains. They have celiac, right? And it's my theory, my hypothesis that all human beings are at least some degree allergic to any grain. Now,
Yeah.
you may be able to eat it and think you're fine and say, "Oh, I eat corn and I bloat," but that's a big deal. That's no big deal. No, that's a big deal. That's your body telling you, yeah, this is not healthy for you, right? A lot of people will eat a lot of whole wheat and they're like, "No, I don't have any gut issues at all, but I have my knees hurt every day. I have this arthritis in my knees." That's your body telling you that's not good for you. And so
Right.
I think the worst outcome would be to think that you're healthy and you lose the weight and actually have the false sense of, yeah, I'm doing good here, and then wind up with some disastrous inflammatory thing that presents itself as chronic disease later in your life. That would be a catastrophe. That's what I'm trying to get people to avoid by saying, "Oh, don't it just because it fits your macros does not make it okay. It has to be a whole food that the human body is able to digest and use as healthy food."
So the key here, folks, is not the question shouldn't just be, is it keto?
Right.
The question should be, is it keto? Will it keep me in ketosis? But also, what's it composed of? Because
Right.
ingredients are important.
Yes.
And as Dr. Berry said, sometimes it almost feels like ingredients are more important than your macro ratio. Because what's the point of being slim if you go crazy with dementia? Or if
Exactly.
you have to have 2 bionic knees or hip replacements or whatever, what's the point of that? So we really want to encourage you to, when you're in the store, if it's not a piece of of cow or a piece of bacon, or it's not in the low carb produce section, if it comes in a packet and you're reading the label, don't just look at the carb count and the sugar count and the starches. You want to also see what's in it. And if there's things like soy, or if there's things like vegetable oils, even though they're not going to affect you negatively for being in ketosis, they are almost certainly going to affect your health negatively, which is counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
Does it fit your macros is a good question. Is it inflammatory is a great question. Is it natural and real? And so if you answer all those questions yes, then it's probably keto as I define keto. But
Right.
if it doesn't meet all three of those criteria, then it's not something I would put in my mouth, or I would recommend that you put in yours.
Right. So ingredients matter.
Yes.
So what would be your, what are the things that you absolutely, I mean, grains, obviously you're not going to eat. Vegetable oils we've talked about.
Yeah.
Soy can be problematic hormonally, particularly for men, as I understand it. What else would be on your it's keto but it's not healthy list?
Well, and that's a great question, because then and so my 3 steps to getting towards keto are to remove all sugars of any kind, even the organic and the natural. None of that's keto, right? And then all the grains, no matter how whole grain, no matter how organic, I don't care. Grains that's what you eat when it's either starved to death or eat something. You eat grains. That's what grains were for back in the day, and I think that's still what they're for. Step 3 is to get rid of all inflammatory vegetable oils, and I think that's a huge step. Even if it fits your macros, it doesn't matter. It's inflammatory and needs to go. For me, it's virtually any underground vegetable. That's my personal step 4 to going keto. So for me, potatoes, turnips, any underground vegetable that's cooked is too starchy for me, and definitely does not fit my macros or my lifestyle. I'll use a little bit of onion and garlic just conservatively for flavor, but as far as using a lot of that, I don't even use a lot of that. And then so now we're getting into the personal keto, not just is it keto,
Right.
but is it keto for me, right?
Right, because
And
Miss Nisha loves her broccoli, and Miss Nisha does better when she has some greenery next to her steak. And
Yep.
So it's super important that you find that out for yourself within
Exactly.
the bounds of is it healthy and is it keto?
Right. And so for some people, nightshades will not be keto for them because they're too inflammatory. For other people, nuts won't be keto because they're too either inflammatory or they're too carby, right? And for some people, no dairy except butter and ghee is keto for them, because for some people, even the tiniest amount of dairy protein inflames their gut, right? And so for some people, even heavy whipping cream is not keto for them because that inflames them. And a lot of you guys may or may not know that heavy whipping cream is not pure milk fat. It has whey. It has a little bit of carbohydrates. And so for some people, that's not keto for them, right?
Right.
And so then once you get through the kind of the basic steps of is it really keto, then you start saying, but is it keto for me? And that's when you really start to feel great on this diet, is when you individually start finding food groups like, yeah, this is great for me, but this is not that great for me. And so you get to kind of fine tune your own keto. And that's when you really start to feel great with this way of eating.
But I think it's super important, and I historically have always kind of been a black and white thinker. Like, life's easier that way. I'm just very black and white. But I've learned that as much as we would love it if it was black and white, it simply isn't. Because there
Right.
are things that are technically keto, like vegetable oils, which are simply not healthy for you. So nobody can give you a list and say, this is keto and this isn't, or this isn't. And I know a lot of you are mad about that, and I am too. But
Yeah.
we want to tell you the truth. We don't want to say,
Right.
you know, to make it black and white when it isn't. And we don't
Right.
want to say to you, you know,
Yeah.
if you're not eating like Dr. Berry, then you're
Right.
not keto.
And
Or,
let's
you
say it
know,
like this, Carrie. Let's have a little plain talk. I'm a country boy in the sticks. Let's say it like it is. If you want a black and white plan that somebody just basically sits down and spoon feeds you, this is not for you. Okay, you've got to actually put on your thinking cap, and you've got to think, and you've got to read, and you've got to study. Okay, 50,000 years ago, you didn't have to do that. You just reached and grabbed the thing you could catch and you ate it. And because it was
right,
all keto back then. Now we've got big corporations who would love to tell you what to eat. We've got big medical associations who would love to tell you what to eat. And if you want to blindly follow them, go ahead. But it's my personal opinion that's why we have epidemics of obesity and chronic disease and autoimmune diseases that we've never had in the history of humanity. That's why we have that, is because people were acting like children and blindly following the powers that be. Oh, the American Diabetes Association said this is okay, so I'm going to eat that. Go ahead and do that and see how that works for you, okay? That's why we have a type 2 diabetes epidemic in this country currently, is because of people blindly following authority. Hopefully those days are over, and that includes blindly following Carrie Brown or Dr. Berry. I don't want you to do that either. I
right.
want you to think about every bite of food you put in your mouth. And if you're not willing to do that, maybe keto's not for you. But if you're willing to do that and put in the time and the effort to relearn what human beings are supposed to eat in general, and then in specifically what you prosper and do the best on when you eat it personally, that's when you're really doing the ketogenic way of eating, okay? You're not going to ever find a black and white list that you can follow and that's going to be your perfect keto. That doesn't exist. You're going to have to do some work to do this diet properly.
And you will never hear Dr. Berry or you'll never hear me saying you'll have to eat greens. You all have to eat spinach. You all have to have greens on your plate with your meat. You all have to, you'll never, you know, everyone should be drinking heavy cream. Everybody, you will never hear me say, eat your greens. You will never hear Dr. Berry say, don't eat your greens. Because he doesn't, but Nisha does, because they're figuring out how they feel best and what gets all their health markers the best and how they feel best. So, and gets the results that they want. So you will never hear us say, you know, do this, this, and this, and it'll be perfect for you. Because that, sadly,
there is a
we all wish it worked like that, because wouldn't that be easy?
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, that would be easy, right? But
the reality is
not real life. Real life ain't easy. Yeah, sorry.
Right.
We all know this
and that's
to be
the
true,
point.
And keto's the same way.
And that's the point of this little live, is we wish it were easy and black and white, but it isn't. And we really want to encourage you to stop trying to force keto into black and white, into, you know, is it or isn't it? Because it isn't as simple as that. And we want you to have the brilliant results, and we want you to have great health. And by telling you that it's black and white, we're not helping you get there.
Right. That's right.
So that would
totally
be,
agree.
you know, counterproductive for us.
Right. The first few steps are black and white. Get rid of sugar, no exceptions. Get rid of grains, no exceptions. Get rid of vegetable oils, no exceptions. And then there are a few more that are kind of dark gray. Then you quickly get into the gray zone, or nuts, okay, I don't know, maybe not, or greens, maybe. And so that's when you start doing your own experimentation, and you start thinking, well, what about, where did I come from on the earth? Are my people from the equator, or are my people from up north? Then you start thinking all these things, and you start having these new thoughts that you've never thought in your entire life. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing that you're thinking. I want you to do that. I want you to think and study and learn. But only after about the first 4 or 5 don'ts, it all becomes gray, just like the rest of it. Nothing is black and white. Kill people, don't steal. Right. But after that, it starts to get a little gray after that, right? And that's the way everything in life is. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that the ketogenic way of eating is that way as well. It's real life.
So if you are one of those people that just does better with black and white thinking, we get that. I used to be that way, but you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to make keto work for you if you hang on to that kind of thinking. As Dr. Berry says, in the beginning, you need a framework. You need something to get going, but then you do need to be prepared to tweak for what works for you. And that might be, like Nisha and I, that might be adding some non-starchy vegetables. For Dr. Ken, that was like getting rid of all the non-starchy vegetables. So you have to find your thing. But I also really want to encourage you to, ingredients are important. It's not just about, will it keep me in ketosis? The quality of your food, the nutrient density of your food, the anti-inflammatory properties of your food, all are really important if you want to have all of the health benefits of keto, not just the weight loss. But there's no point in getting to the weight you want if you have some inflammatory disease.
Exactly right.
So ingredients
we don't
matter.
want to have a healthy looking body that's riddled with chronic inflammation and chronic disease on the inside. That's not the goal either. We want to look healthy, but we also want to be healthy on the inside. Now, Carrie, I think everybody's going inside, so I'm going to have to go.
Yep.
If you want to stay live and answer some questions, feel free, and I'll be back with you guys again. Okay?
I actually cannot see. Okay, I'm actually not seeing any questions, but I'll hang around for a couple of minutes, and if I can make the questions roll up, then I'll stay for a few minutes.
Are you on your phone or on your
always,
computer?
I am. Yeah, I am.
Are you on? You are? Yeah, okay. But she's not seeing the comments. What is she? Oh, you swipe right and swipe left, and I think you'll be able to see.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, guys. I'll see you next time.
For another couple of minutes to do some questions. Okay. See ya. Okay. Dr. Berry, awesome as always. Oh, I'm seeing comments from half an hour ago. There's Nisha. Hi. Okay, I'm going to try scrolling up here. Hi, everybody. My phone is being a bit retarded. Let me see if I can find some questions. No, he was not driving. He was sat in the car park. Faye says, hello, beautiful people. Thank you. Oh, there's Norman. Hi. I know Norman. I met Norman at Keto Fest in New London when Dr. Ken and Nisha were here staying with me. Hi, Donna. Hey, Melissa. I'm scrolling. I'm trying to get to some questions. And hold on. I'm like half an hour behind in my questions here. Actually, I'm going to try, this may not work, but I'm going to try and go this way. Nope, it didn't like that. So I am going to, Candy says you can't put the wrong fuel in a gas tank and expect the engine to keep running. That is a brilliant analogy, Candy. Do what works best for you. What about your ice cream, Carrie? My ice cream is made of beautiful, healthy keto ingredients, Michelle. You have to figure out what the... So Peggy says, is there a brand of mayo that doesn't have the bad oils? Yes, Peggy, there's at least two. I know of at least two brands of mayo that are made with beautiful, clean, healthy ingredients. One is Primal, forgotten the brand name. Primal make an avocado oil mayo, and there's a company out of New York, and I've forgotten the name of them too. But what you want to look for, Peggy, is avocado mayo. But always read the label, because some companies will call it avocado, but when you turn it over and read the label, it's got avocado in, but it's also got some nefarious vegetable oils in. So even if it says on the label avocado mayo, always check the ingredients to see if there's any other vegetable oils in there. Eric is eating meat, water, and coffee. Oh, yeah, Rena was asking too, a good keto-friendly mayo. Look for one with avocado oil. Suzette says, starting off very basic and start adding to see how your body reacts. Christy can't eat nightshades. Primal Kitchen, that's right, Primal Kitchen mayo. Okay, let me scroll down. I'm trying to see questions. I'm trying to get to the bottom here. Hang on. Oh, Michael said he didn't catch who I was. Can I do a quick introduction? So, my name is Carrie Brown, and I author keto cookbooks and develop recipes for the keto lifestyle. I have a blog at carriebrown.com, CARRIEBROWN. I also have a Facebook group which is called the Keto Kitchen. So facebook.com/groups/the Keto Kitchen, and that is focused on what Dr. Berry and I have been talking about tonight, which is healthy keto recipes. So, and it's called the Keto Kitchen because we focus mostly on foods and recipes sharing and tips and tricks and how to be a better cook and all the translating the science of keto into what you actually get to put on your plate. So, Michael, that's who I am. And I do, Dr. Berry and I do lives every other week, and I generally talk about the food side of it, and Dr. Berry talks about the medical side of it. I am actually a trained pastry chef, which is kind of funny because now I can't use anything that a normal pastry chef would do. So, so I now convert regular recipes to keto. My goal is to prove that the keto way of eating can be more delicious than the way you used to eat before you went keto. So that's one of my goals in life. I also, I am possibly more famous for having cured my bipolar 2 disorder using the ketogenic diet and a couple of other things. So that's me, and I talk about that a lot. I am scrolling down to see if I can find any more. Nobody's asking questions. Oh, Donna says she can't find the vanilla bean for ice cream. Can I use vanilla extract? Absolutely, yes, you can. So Donna, start by doubling the vanilla extract that's listed in the recipe, and then taste it. You might want to put some more in. But the trick to tasting ice cream is always remember, if you're tweaking a recipe for flavor, always remember that freezing dulls flavor. So your custard, when you make your ice cream custard, it should taste too strong, a little bit too strong. So if it tastes a little bit too strong flavor-wise, then you're probably right. If the custard, before you've churned it, tastes right, then you probably want to up the flavor. So Donna, go for double the vanilla extract to start with. Taste it. If it tastes right, add a little bit more because freezing dulls the flavor. I'm looking for questions. Oh, yeah, somebody mentioned I do have a digital book special running now. Actually, I forget all of these things. So all 5 of my keto cookbooks, the keto soup bowl, the keto crock pot, the keto ice cream scoop, keto for the holidays just coming up, and 101 keto beverages, all 5 of them are available for the price of 3. If you go to carriebrown.com and type in the search getting started, or down the left-hand sidebar, you'll see a link, getting started special. That's how you, and that's on all my digital ebooks. So really, really good special going on right now. It ends tomorrow night. So, oh, there's Trey. Hi, Trey. I'm looking for questions. Everybody's talking about mayo. Oh, Nancy wants to know about my estrogen tummy. No solutions yet, Nancy, but I will get there. Okay, David Wills is asking about MTHFR supplements. He is heterozygous on C677T. So am I, David. So if you're wondering why we're talking about MTHFR and wondering what that is, it's a genetic wrinkle that about 30% of the population have. In my case, it was what triggered my bipolar 2 disorder. So David and anyone else who's MTHFR and wondering what to do about it, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you find yourself either a functional medicine doctor or a naturopath, and hopefully one that understands MTHFR, if not genetics as a whole, and help you to find out the correct dose. You do need to be on methylated B vitamins. The dose will depend on you, and the dose also changes. So times of more stress, you might need more. When the seasons change, you might need more. So I can tell you what I use, but it won't really be relevant for you. I highly recommend that you find a practitioner and work with them to find out what the right dose for you is. You also, when you first start taking methylated B vitamins, you want to titrate up. You don't kind of suddenly take, 4 all at once. You take 1 for a week, and then you add another 1 for a week, and then you add another 1, until you get to the point where you suddenly start feeling worse, and then you back down to the last dose where you feel good. So that's a brief example of how you would titrate up to find the right dose, but I highly recommend you don't self-medicate and you go and find someone who can help you to get it right. So who's saying, oh, Michelle is saying, I love keto. So do we. Melody, yes, my cookbook special is still happening. Helen is bored with what she's eating, so she's going to go look at some of my recipes. Tammy wants to know how you get your 23andMe info converted to find out about MTHFR. So Tammy, you want to go to a website called Genetic Genie, as in genie in a bottle. So geneticgenie.org. If you go to geneticgenie.org, it will ask you to upload your 23andMe DNA file into their server, and then they will send you a report with your methylation profile and your detox profile. And from there, you can see whether you have MTHFR and also whether you have trouble with the other methylation genes, such as COMT. My COMT is also a mess, and there's a whole bunch of others. And then there's another report that talks about your ability to detox. So geneticgenie.org is where you want to put your genetic data, Tammy, to get those results. Questions. John is asking why people still think soy is okay, and I really don't have a good answer for you, John, because I don't know why people think it's okay. Eva, if you're making my recipes and your ice cream is too hard, you're either not using the correct sweetener, or your freezer is freezing to too cold of a temperature. I have 2 freezers. I have a big, standalone freezer that's in the garage, and I have the freezer that's in the kitchen with my fridge. The freezer outside freezes the ice cream harder. So if you're using the right sweetener and you followed the directions and the recipe exactly, then your freezer is set to too low a temperature. Michelle, yes, I did say ice cream scoop. Ricotta, yes, ricotta is keto. Kimberly is asking, oh, hi, Kimberly. That's my Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Is heavy real raw cream, would it be better than heavy whipping cream? Well, heavy whipping cream that has carrageenan in should be a last resort. You should always look for heavy whipping cream that has nothing in it except heavy whipping cream. Is raw milk better? For flavor, yes. For nutrients, yes. Is it better? So if we're talking about nutrient density, yes. But if we're talking about just amount of fat making it keto, then no. Raw and pasteurized, it doesn't make any difference. But pasteurizing does alter the flavor, and it does alter the nutrients a bit because the heat destroys some of the vitamins. So, and I'm sorry, this is Jessica got her methylated bees today. Jamie wants to know, are there dairy-free ice cream recipes in your ice cream cookbook? Jamie, virtually all of the recipes in the keto ice cream scoop have dairy-free subs listed in the recipe. Or at the front of the book where I'm talking about the ingredients, it will tell you there what to sub to make all of them dairy-free. There's maybe 2 or 3 that have dairy in that you can't remove. For example, the Sassy Goat ice cream. Sassy Goat is made with goat's cheese, so you can't take the dairy out. And there are some others which are made with cream cheese where you can't take that out. But at least 95% of the recipes can be made dairy-free, and all the information is in the book. Jessica spoke to a functional medicine doctor about MTHFR, and he was wonderful. That's awesome. Okay, I'm looking for questions here. Oh, I got to the bottom. How bad is mannitol? Okay, so the mannitol, for those of you who don't know, mannitol is a sugar alcohol. It's not bad per se. What makes mannitol bad is that if you eat more than a little bit, you will have disaster pants. So while it's okay for eating, you don't want to eat very much at all, because it will have you running to the bathroom. So that's mannitol. But if it's got an OL at the end, it's a sugar alcohol, and we typically don't count those, and it's fine. You just don't want to eat much. I am looking for questions. Oh, Jessica's saying, can I wean my 350-pound dad off banana slowly to just get his keto started? He's a curmudgeon. Absolutely. Baby steps is better than no steps. So if you can get him off the grains and the refined sugar, leave the banana until last. If that's his thing, get rid of everything else and keep him with his bananas. His tastes will change, and his appetite will change, and his cravings will change. So whatever works. If you can get rid of everything else in exchange for a banana, then give him the banana. When he gets to that point where he can let the banana go, then it's all good. But even if he's just eating keto but having 1 banana a day, his carb count is going to be so much lower than it was on the traditional standard American diet that he's going to be in way, way better shape right there anyway. So all good. But to be clear, are bananas keto? No, they're absolutely not. They're starchy, they're high carb. But if you're trying to help somebody get to the end goal, bananas are better than donuts. That doesn't mean you can all go eat bananas. It just means that on a continuum, bananas are better. And if Jessica wants to help her father get there, let him keep the bananas if he'll give up everything else. And then she'll get to the point where he'll give up the bananas too. So Johnny says, what about using vegetable glycerin in the ice cream recipe? So people are very confused about this, but I have done a lot of experiments with ice cream because I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of ice cream in my life. Ice cream is my thing. So I really do know a lot about ice cream, and I know a lot about keto ice cream. I've experimented extensively. If you add vegetable glycerin to a regular ice cream that has sugar in, it will keep it soft. If you add vegetable glycerin to an erythritol-based sweetened ice cream, so Swerve or your monk's fruit blends or any other erythritol blend or plain erythritol, vegetable glycerin will not keep it soft. It will not help you. And I understand why people are confused about that. But that's how it is. So if you're making ice cream with erythritol or erythritol-based blends of sweeteners, glycerin is not going to help you, and nor is alcohol, while we're on the topic, because it makes me so sad when I see people saying with an erythritol-based ice cream, oh, just add vodka and it'll keep it soft. It absolutely won't. I actually made, as a trial, I made a batch of my Dirty Hippie keto ice cream, but I made it with erythritol. I put like half a cup of vodka in it, and it still froze like ice. And I did that to prove a point. So no, with erythritol sweeteners, glycerin and vodka will not help you to keep your ice cream soft. Mary's asking, where do I get recipes? carriebrown.com, so CARRIEBROWN. You can also, you're welcome to join our keto kitchen group. It's at facebook.com/groups/the keto kitchen. You're welcome to come and join us over there. We talk almost exclusively about the foods and how to cook them and tips and tricks. And because one of my goals in life is to make sure that your keto food is more delicious than the sad food you were eating before, and also ways to help you make it quicker, easier, faster, simpler, and more delicious. So lots of tips and tricks and fabulous recipes over there. I also hate when people spend a lot of time and money and have a keto fail. So one of the big reasons that my group exists is to try and stop everybody having fails in the kitchen. So come join us, Mary, and everybody. Oh, Wilhelmina is asking how long to fast for. So I'm not the doctor in this outfit, but from what I've read, Wilhelmina, that is, again, not black and white. It's a very personal thing. But as I understand it, the magic starts to happen after 14 hours. A lot of people do what they call a 16-8, which means you don't eat for 16 hours every day. You eat during an 8-hour window. That's why it's called 16-8. 16 hours no food, 8 hours with food. So you may have your first meal at noon and your last meal at 7:30. And then nothing from 7:30, nothing from 8 o'clock at night until noon the next day. As I understand it, magic starts at 14 hours. So by doing a 16-8 fast, you will be getting all the benefits. However, some people who have different issues or are facing a stall might do much, much longer fasts than that. But if you're starting out fasting, Wilhelmina, I would suggest you start by doing 16-8 every day. So you're eating food every day. You're just eating all the food only in one 8-hour window. So you start eating at noon, you make sure you're done eating by 8 p.m., or you have your first meal at 2 p.m., you last at 10 p.m., or something like some variation of that. Or some people, find it really hard to not do breakfast. So then you might have your first meal at 8 o'clock and then you stop eating at 4 p.m. So that's how I would start out fasting. All right, I'm going to do one more question if I can find one. There was a food question there. Would guar gum help gummies be more gummy-like? No, Julie. Guar gum, you just want to add more gelatin. So if you have a recipe for homemade gummies, just increase the amount of gelatin, keep the amount of liquid the same, increase the amount of gelatin. The more gelatin you add, the gummier it will become. Guar gum is not going to help you in that instance. And I'm going to get one more. Oh, Jessica Link says, ooh, dirty hippie ice cream. I need to know about that. Dirty hippie is in my book, The Keto Ice Cream Scoop, and it's absolutely one of my favorite flavors. A dirty hippie, if you don't know, dirty hippie is chai espresso or chai latte with a shot of espresso in it. So some places call it a dirty chai. In Oregon, we call it a dirty hippie. So, all right, one more question. Carol Murphy, no, xanthan and guar gum are not the same. Thank you, Carol Murphy. They are not the same. And she also has something to say about hemp milk. Yes, hemp milk is at most health food stores. So I'm going to make up a question. People often ask in my ice cream recipes where it calls for hemp milk, can you substitute it with almond milk? And for various reasons. One, probably because you can't find hemp milk in the stores anywhere. You absolutely can switch hemp for almond. The difference is, one, the nutritional profile is different, but where I've used hemp milk is primarily because of the flavor. Hemp milk has a kind of a caramelly undertone. So in recipes where I've used hemp milk, it's because I trialed it with almond milk and I tried it with hemp milk, and the hemp milk gave it a better flavor. The ice cream will still work if you use almond milk, but it won't have quite the same flavor. It'll just taste a bit different. So absolutely, if you can't find hemp milk or it's more expensive for you or whatever, you can absolutely use almond instead. But if you can get hemp milk, I would encourage you to try it because the flavor of the ice cream is a bit better. And vice versa. If I've used almond milk in an ice cream, and you can use hemp milk instead, but you are going to alter the flavor. And my best example is when I made one of the coffee ice creams in the book. I made it with the hemp milk thinking that would actually be better because it has a kind of caramel undertone, and it actually took away from the pure coffee flavor quite a lot. When I made it with almond milk, the kind of pure coffee flavor really came through. So yes, you're welcome to switch out the almond and the hemp, but you are going to change the flavor. So just bear that in mind. Sarah says she can only handle 15 carbs a day, and that's awesome that you know that, because as Dr. Berry and I said at the start of this, or throughout this live, was once you've got going, then you have to start tweaking to find out what is best for you. Some people can eat a lot more carbs than 20 a day and be perfectly fine. But so my friend Danny Vega, I think some of you know Danny. I call him the mountain of meat. He's like enormous, but he's awesome. And his wife Maura do a podcast called The Fat Fueled Family. They're fabulous. You should follow them. Danny can eat, I don't know, Danny eats 60 to 90 grams of carbs a day, but he's 220 pounds of solid muscle. He has, 6% body fat, and he spends 90 minutes lifting heavy things in the gym. So his body and his metabolism isn't broken. So his body can handle more carbs than, say, I could or Sarah. So it is important that once you've got the hang of keto, you do start tweaking to find out what your best tolerance for carbs and protein and everything else is. And Jessica's saying hi, Dan Quibell. So I'm going to say hi, Dan Quibell too, even though I haven't met Dan. And one more. Oh, there's Mary Jo. Hi. I'm going to eat one more question, but I can't find one. Jessica loves hemp milk. Artificial sweetener Stormy. That's something else you need to find out for yourselves. Can you use, oh, here we go. The last question. Can we, Zada says, can we use coconut sugar? Of course, you are free to use whatever you like. But if you want to stay keto, if your point is being keto and reducing carbs, then absolutely no. Coconut sugar is just sugar that doesn't come from beet. So coconut sugar is sugar, is sugar. It just comes from a different source. So no, absolutely no coconut sugar if your goal is to reduce carbs and be keto and to stop your teeth decaying. No coconut sugar. So I said that was the last question. It's been swell. I'm super happy that we got that Dr. Berry was able to come for half an hour. I'm super excited about his daughter winning her game on Tuesday, so that she got to go forward to the next case. And I'm kind of secretly hoping that we get that bit of live footage of Dr. Berry yelling and cheering like a brilliant dad that he is. So I hope that the live was helpful. I hope that you now understand clearly that the keto is not black and white, and that there is a difference between being keto and being healthy keto. Vegetable oils, yep, absolutely. They'll keep you in ketosis, but they'll give you inflammation. So your goal should be ketosis plus health. And that's why we say that ingredients matter. So with that, I'm going to run away, and thank you for allowing me to share some of my brain with you tonight. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the support. Dr. Berry and I appreciate it more than you could ever know. Please, once this is done, if you found this useful in any way, please share this wherever you can, in your keto and low carb groups, on your walls, anywhere where you think there's people who may benefit from this knowledge that we're sharing with you. Please share it, because Dr. Berry and I can save or help to save a lot more lives if this information is spread prolifically everywhere. So thank you very much for helping us to spread the message, and we will be back in 2 weeks. And I also do lives. I will be I've had a little hiatus, but I'll be doing lives. My live night is Monday. So Monday night, typically 8 Eastern, but that may change. So if you come and join my group, the Keto Kitchen, or you come and hang out on my wall, then you'll know where the lives are. And I'd love to help you to make delicious food and become a better cook and reach your keto goals. So thank you all, and I'll see you soon.